So as you probably know, and as I've been covering here on the channel, there's recently been this entire situation regarding the SAG-AFTRA union, with the union and its members striking against various video game companies over AI regulations, essentially saying that their members are not protected enough against the use of AI. Now, before we continue on with the current news, let's actually backtrack about 7 months ago. Because 7 months ago, SAG-AFTRA, the union, was getting a ton of backlash from their own members over apparently signing a deal regarding the use of AI voices. A deal that many of their own members claimed they had no idea was even happening. On top of that, they also weren't happy about the deal itself. The entire situation, making it look like the union really wasn't doing the voice actors any good, and if anything, was actually doing the inverse by making things worse for them. And yet somehow, things are now falling apart even more for the union as well as their voice actors. Because as mentioned, we have a new situation going on with SAG-AFTRA, including backlash over official statements made by the union, and not just that, but financial information has come out that can also arguably be showing quite a bit of corruption over with the executives at the top. So there's this guy named Duncan Crabtree Ireland, who is apparently a national executive director and chief negotiator for SAG-AFTRA. And the official Twitter account for SAG-AFTRA recently tweeted out a video that included Duncan making disparaging comments towards non-union voice actors. The union, as well as Duncan, got so much backlash over this that not only did they get community noted, but they ended up deleting the entire tweet and Duncan issuing an apology of sorts. However, of course on the internet, I was still able to find that video, so let's roll it back from the beginning. You'll be able to see it for yourself.
I think one of the things that sometimes gets overlooked, and it's so important here, is the alternative, which is saying our members are going to withhold services from these areas, does also mean that our members aren't working in those areas. And so to have the ability to have these protections in place, but to also, if a member wants to, really be active in this space and help make sure this space is not dominated by, non-union performances, frankly, probably of lesser quality, but nonetheless, that would be a loss of opportunities for our members. Obviously crucial, and they're crucial that we have them in every work area and across every contract.
So calling non-union voice actors of lesser quality, what a pretentious and rude thing to say. Although there's many words that could describe that, so essentially just fill in the blank. And there's many voice actors and people in general, depending on what profession we're talking about, that would simply prefer to not join a union. That doesn't make them lesser people or lesser workers or however Duncan wants to phrase it. And furthermore, we've seen how many union members are unhappy with SAG-AFTRA due to their ineptitude in recent negotiations. And it's ironic how SAG-AFTRA is basically facilitating arguments against joining them entirely through their own actions. On top of all that though, did you also catch how Duncan was essentially trying to advocate for union voice actors to help gatekeep work away from non-union voice actors? Are these people really that desperate? By the way, apparently not the first time that SAG-AFTRA disparaged non-union workers. This image, allegedly from an ad that SAG-AFTRA took out years ago, insults workers who are not a part of the union and goes on to advocate only hiring union actors. Now back to this current situation with the strike against gaming companies and the statements made by Duncan. So here's the official tweet by SAG-AFTRA, the one that included Duncan's video, and the one that ended up getting deleted. However, before it was deleted, there was also this community note added to it, which I figure I'll read for you right now. It says, "There's no specific skill requirement for joining SAG-AFTRA. As such, being a non-union member doesn't mean your work is of lesser quality than that of the members as Duncan, who is a business executive with zero history of being a performer himself, has suggested here." So they got a ton of backlash for the statements that Duncan made, ending up getting that note and ultimately deleting the tweet. Stuff that you already know. But with that context, we'll move on to Duncan's response. On August 17th, he issued this tweet on his own personal account that has quite a different tone to it, saying, "All performers deserve respect. It's an incredibly hard profession to pursue, and the risk takers who create deserve to be acknowledged. All of them," including a 1 minute and 22-second long video. Oh, and by the way, the tweet getting almost 250,000 views, but only 37 likes. Anyways, here's the video.
Hey everybody, Duncan here. I'm super proud of the incredible work of our members and our staff on the video game strike and about the new narrative deal we announced a few days ago, which is not only groundbreaking in its AI protections, but also provides our members with safe access to work in this new arena. I made a comment on our podcast last week about the expansion of the narrative platform to union talent, which was intended to applaud the quality and expertise that SAG-AFTRA members would now bring to the platform. That comment didn't come out the way I intended, so let me be very, very clear. I fully respect the talent and artistry of all performers, including those who are not yet SAG-AFTRA members or who, for whatever reason, have chosen not to join. As someone who has actors in my immediate family, I know how hard it is to make a career as a performer, and I have the deepest respect for everyone who takes up that challenge. I want to make sure that all those actors know that their talents are appreciated, both by me personally and by SAG-AFTRA. And I hope that those of you pursuing a career as performers will become members of SAG-AFTRA if you aren't already, and stand together with all of us to fight against the abusive use of artificial intelligence and for the fair treatment and AI protections that all performers deserve. See you on the picket lines.
Of course, form your own opinion on this entire situation, that statement, the whole thing. In my opinion, though, I don't think this guy's being sincere in this new statement. It sounds like he was sincere in what he said in the prior statement, and now this is some sort of damage control both for himself and for SAG-AFTRA. And maybe it's just me, maybe I'm being a little silly now or something, but it almost sounds like the guy's in pain when he's talking about people who aren't union, like there's some just disgust from him or something. I'm talking about this few seconds of the clip right here.
I fully respect the talent and artistry of all performers, including those who are not yet SAG-AFTRA members or who, for whatever reason, have chosen not to join.
Perhaps Duncan is so desperate to get people to join the union because it looks like it all comes down to his monetary gain. This information allegedly shows what Duncan is making annually per year as a union executive for SAG-AFTRA. And we can see, for example, just taking a look at 2019 was right under $400,000 annually. And now in 2024, that figure has shot up to just over $1 million annually. So while these union executives tell their voice actors not to accept work, they're happily raking in millions of dollars the entire time. Now going back to Duncan's response video, let's take a look at some of the replies that he got, some of the public reception. I think your apology is of, of lesser quality. I failed to believe this is the best you could do. At SAG-AFTRA, you're complicit in this too. It's not just Duncan. Speak up quickly. You didn't say, I'm sorry once in this video, and why was this not posted to SAG-AFTRA's page for everyone to see? Rhetorical. I know why. You're creating more division when there should be solidarity between actors. A few more similar comments, one reading, genuine question. Is there a reason why this isn't on the SAG-AFTRA Twitter account? And interesting that you're posting this on your personal page and not SAG's page. A quote tweet reading, this just in, grown man can't apologize and SAG makes zero statement on their end after taking down the video lol. Most of the responses seem to be very negative. However, for a bit of variety, I did manage to actually track down one that is arguably more on the positive side. This one reads, on the one hand, I'm glad they issued a response to the criticism they received, and this is a pretty nice sentiment. On the other hand, the word sorry literally doesn't appear once in this video. Interestingly enough, that tweet comes from a Genshin voice actor, the English dub for Chang Yun. Overall, this stuff looks like a very bad look for Duncan and the SAG-AFTRA union. Let me know what you think about the entire situation in the comments. As always, thanks for tuning in, and if you enjoyed my coverage, consider liking and subscribing. Appreciate ya, and I'll see you in the next one.